The sun rose slowly over the Valley of Elah, casting golden light across the hills of ancient Israel. The land was quiet, but a heavy tension filled the air. Two great armies stood on opposite sides of the valley, the army of Israel on one hill, and the Philistine army on the other. For 40 days and 40 nights, fear had ruled this place. Each morning, and again each evening, a giant stepped forward from the Philistine camp. His name was Goliath of Gath. He was taller than any man Israel had ever seen. His armor shone in the sunlight, heavy and powerful. A massive spear rested in his hand, and his voice thundered across the valley. I defy the armies of Israel. Choose a man to fight me. If he defeats me, we will serve you. But if I defeat him, you will serve us. Every time Goliath spoke, the soldiers of Israel trembled. Even King Saul, tall and strong himself, was afraid. No one stepped forward. No one answered the challenge. Fear became their daily companion. Meanwhile, in the quiet fields near Bethlehem, a young shepherd named David watched over his father's flock. He was the youngest of 8 sons, small in stature, but with a heart full of faith. His days were spent with the sheep, playing his harp and singing songs to God. He wasn't a soldier, but he was brave. He had faced down lions and bears to protect his flock, trusting in God's strength to deliver him. One day, David's father, Jesse, called for him. "Take this grain and these loaves of bread to your brothers in the army," he said, "and see how they are doing." So David set off, leaving his sheep in the care of another, unaware that his journey would lead him straight into the heart of Israel's crisis. When David arrived at the camp, he heard the commotion. He saw the fear in the soldiers' eyes. And then he saw him, Goliath, standing tall and proud, shouting his daily defiance. David was shocked, not by the giant's size, but by the disrespect he showed to God and his people. "Who is this man," David asked the soldiers, "that he should defy the armies of the living God?" He couldn't understand why everyone was so afraid. His older brother Eliab heard him and became angry. "Why have you come down here? You just want to watch the battle," he scolded. But David wasn't there for entertainment. A fire had been lit in his spirit. He believed that with God on their side, Israel had nothing to fear. He kept asking questions, and his words of faith soon reached the ears of King Saul. Intrigued, Saul sent for the young shepherd. When David stood before the king, he spoke with a confidence that startled everyone. "Let no one lose heart on account of this Philistine," David declared. "Your servant will go and fight him." Saul looked at David, a mere boy, and then thought of the towering, battle-hardened giant. "You can't go against him," Saul said. "You're only a young man, and he has been a warrior from his youth." But David's faith was unshakable. He shared his own stories of courage. "Your servant has been keeping his father's sheep," he explained, "when a lion or a bear came and carried off a sheep from the flock. I went after it, struck it, and rescued the sheep from its mouth. The Lord who rescued me from the paw of the lion and the paw of the bear will rescue me from the hand of this Philistine." Hearing the conviction in David's voice, Saul was moved. He saw a flicker of hope where there had only been despair. "Go," the king said, "and may the Lord be with you." Saul then tried to equip David with his own royal armor. He placed a bronze helmet on David's head and dressed him in a coat of mail. But the armor was too heavy, too unfamiliar. David tried to walk but couldn't move properly. "I cannot go in these," he told Saul, "because I am not used to them." He took them off. Instead of a sword and shield, David chose the tools he knew best. He went to a nearby stream and carefully selected 5 smooth stones. He put them in his shepherd's bag, with his staff in one hand and his sling in the other. David walked out into the valley to face the giant. He didn't look like a warrior. He looked like a shepherd boy, but his heart was armed with something far more powerful than bronze or iron, wavering faith in God. Goliath saw David approaching and laughed. A deep, booming sound that echoed off the hills. He was insulted. "Am I a dog," he roared, "that you come at me with sticks?" The giant looked down at the boy with contempt. "Come here and I'll give your flesh to the birds and the wild animals." The Philistine army joined in the mockery, their laughter rolling across the valley. Any other person would have been terrified, but David stood his ground. His voice, clear and strong, rang out in response. "You come against me with sword and spear and javelin," David shouted, "but I come against you in the name of the Lord Almighty, the God of the armies of Israel, whom you have defied. This day the Lord will deliver you into my hands, and the whole world will know that there is a God in Israel." With those powerful words, David didn't wait. He ran quickly toward the battle line to meet Goliath. As he ran, he reached into his bag and took out a stone. He placed it in his sling, took aim, and let it fly. The stone soared through the air, a tiny projectile against a massive target, but guided by a divine hand, it flew straight and true. It struck Goliath on the forehead, sinking into his skin. The giant stumbled. The laughter of the Philistines died in their throats. Goliath fell face down on the ground. The impossible had happened. The boy had defeated the giant. David ran to the fallen Philistine, took Goliath's own sword, and sealed his victory. When the Philistines saw their champion was dead, they turned and ran in panic. A great shout rose from the Israelite army, a cry of victory and relief. They chased after the fleeing Philistines, their fear replaced by courage inspired by a young shepherd's faith. That day, the Valley of Elah, which had been a place of fear and shame, became a symbol of God's incredible power. The story of David and Goliath isn't just about a boy and a giant. It's a powerful reminder that our battles are not won by our own strength, but by our faith in God. It teaches us that courage isn't the absence of fear, but trusting God in the face of it. No matter how big the giants in our own lives may seem, whether they are challenges, fears, or obstacles, we can face them with confidence, knowing that with God, nothing is impossible. Thank you so much for watching. If this story inspired you, please give this video a like and subscribe to our channel for more content that uplifts and encourages. Don't forget to hit the notification bell so you never miss a new video. Share this message of faith and courage with someone who might need to hear it today. We'll see you in the next one.